Okay, welcome to sitting on my bathroom floor while I organize my makeup. You can't see it, but it's in a pile. And I'm also going to do my makeup, and I'm also going to review all the books I've read this year. I have them on a pile off to the side. I'm going to do all of it at once. I'm not going to lose focus. Okay. And yeah, alright. So I guess we'll start with primer, and I was gonna do them in order that I read them, but then I moved all my piles around, and now they're kind of just in a random order, so I'm gonna go in the order that they're in the pile in, starting with, spoilers for all the books. Okay, starting with The Secret History. This book is crazy. I really liked it. It's insane. Most times books are like 500 pages. I find that there's like a solid, I don't know, there's a solid like 100, 200 pages where I'm like, you could have edited this down. There's no reason for it to be this long. But I was actually, the whole time I was reading this book, I was like, I'm really glad it's this long, and I'm glad I can be in the story for that long, because like it really earns its pages, which I feel like a lot of long books don't. Like there's very little parts, even the parts that are like slower and less like stuff. You're like, I'm glad that this is happening. I'm glad it takes its time in the area. It takes its time. I'm going to use this as a mirror because my mirror's up there. This is the Smashbox. A lot of this is from my cousin from years ago. So, expired? Yes. My shade? Not necessarily. But, it is what it is. Anyhow, yeah, so, a lot of it's very, very good. It's a very good book. If you are intrigued, like if you don't normally like longer books, this is a good one to read to try and like get into that. Like if you don't like slow books, it's not really a slow book. This is the Essence Tinted Primer. I really like it. I feel like it kind of gets weird when I pair it with my other primer though, that's also from Essence. I have a lot of, is it? Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, that happens a lot. It's not glued in, and there's not really that much left, so I don't really want to bother gluing it back in. Anyhow, yeah, it's really, really good. I saw one review on Goodreads that was like, the characters are really flat. And their example was Francis is a gay stereotype, which is, if you haven't read the book, so crazy. Because, like, I don't know, he's just as much of a person as anyone else is. And the fact that he's gay doesn't really come up that much. And he, like, like they're all kind of like the same, like, college student. And they've got they're different people, but they're all, like, within an umbrella, and he's very much in that umbrella. And that just made me so mad. And I think about it a lot. But anyhow, so that's The Secret History. I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads because I can't stop thinking about it. I think about it every day. And it's haunting me a little bit wherever I go. It's actually the book I read most recently. And the problem I have sometimes with reading other books after I read a really good book is it's like I don't want to think about another book. So like I've been taking, and then the book I've decided, I watched my Beauty Benedict's on. Anyhow, the book I've been thinking, or I've started reading is a novelization of Master Chief from Halo's origin story. That's what I've decided to follow it up with because my friend read it, and then my other friend read it, and now we're kind of just all reading it. So I'm like 10 pages in because I can't really motivate myself to read it. Like I love I love hate reading things. Like, I like reading things that are bad because it's funny to me. But I can't bring myself to like get it to Halo. What's it called? It's like Halo like Ultimate Breach or something like that. I have no idea. Anyhow, that's not in this list because I haven't finished it and I have no thoughts except for the way that they describe him like coughing up a bunch of slime in the first page was such a bold opener. It made me it was really gross. Anyhow, this book list is all over the place. The Grapes of Wrath. This book is really, my first note on it is that it's a huge bummer. Oops, I've made a mess. It's a huge bummer, because the sort of central conceit, like a lot of it is just like, gosh, capitalism is really tearing our nation apart, like people exploiting workers, etc., etc. Like it's, but then it's like from the like 30s, so you're like, well, John, good thing we fixed capitalism, John. You would be so happy to know. It's too hot. So that, also there's a lot of like silly scenes. Like there's one, this is the Maybelline, oh, is it? Yeah, it's the Maybelline Fit Me. It's the one everybody uses because it's really good. Stole this from my friend who's way too pale for it. I didn't steal it. Anyhow, like there's one whole chapter about Eternal Crossing Road, and it's like more than that. It's about like the passage of time and how like it's about a bunch of stuff, but it's central like it's the thing it's about while it's making statements on whatever it's making statements on is Eternal Crossing Road, and then it ends with formerly pregnant. That's so sad. This girl who's pregnant for the whole book gives birth to a dead child, and then breastfeeds a starving old man. Very bizarre. That's the last like page, like couple lines, which is just such an interesting way to end that book. And it's a huge bummer the whole time, and it made me really thirsty. And I think I gave it like, I don't know, like 3.5, I think, because I do think it's a really like good book. It's just like, it's not like, I don't know, I think it does what it's trying to do. I just don't think that, I don't know, I just don't think that like I like a lot of classics. My favorite classic I think is To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf, but like this one is just like, okay, yeah, I know, it really sucks how people exploit the poor, and I hate that, and I hate hearing about it. No, but it is a bummer. It is a bummer of a book, and yeah, okay, moving on. Twilight, of course. So I never read Twilight. We watched it last year. We watched all of them. We read it for book club this year, which we still have not done, which is crazy because we've all been like had it done for like a month. Oh, like little McDonald's stickers. Anyhow, so I annotated it for book club. Most of my annotations are like, "Girl, what are you doing? You're gonna die. What is wrong with you? Do you have a death wish?" The most notable scene for me in Twilight was the sequence where Edward is revealing his sparkly skin, right? And it's very good. It's a very good scene, and we love it. My one thing about that scene though is, so he's wearing a jacket and a button-up, like a white button-up. With a collar, right? So like picture like the shirt you would have under a suit jacket, except like without the tie, and then he takes off the jacket, and he has no sleeves, so it's like a white button up with a collar, but it's a vest, and then he's wearing, I think, like jeans, and that's the craziest fit I've ever seen in my life. That's like, I've never in my life seen a button-up vest with a collar that's like a white dress shirt, and I just couldn't get over it. And she's like, oh, he's sparkling, and it's like, yeah, he's sparkling and he's wearing the ugliest shirt I've maybe ever considered. Also, another notable scene is that she said her favorite color, well, she doesn't have a favorite color, mind you, but right now her favorite color changes, but right now it's brown. Because of tree trunks, dirt, and rocks. Rocks are usually gray, but that's neither here nor there. So that's kind of the Bella we're working with, which I love. I love her. She's such a nightmare, and she's so miserable, and the amount of like minor inconveniences, she's like, this is just so typical. I love her. I love Charlie. It's weird how how often Jacob is described as like a child. And there's, oh my god, wait, here, let me find it. I definitely bookmarked it because it was absolutely rancid that this happened. I stopped annotating halfway through because I lost them. Oh, and just like a lot of the outfits were really good. I drew his outfit because I was so shocked and appalled. No, it's at the dance. Oh wait, yeah, it would be. I'm not editing this, so you guys can find it with me. It's fine. I thought it was at the end. And maybe I won't bother. But anyhow, there's a line where where Edward's like Jacob's a child, and then Bella goes, he's not that much younger than me. And Edward goes, I know. And it's like, Stephanie, like, sometimes I get these moments in books where it's like, I got really distracted blending out the contour. Where it's like, it takes you sort of out of the story, and you're not, like, I'm not like, Edward, I am like, Edward, that's a crazy thing to say, but I'm also like, Stephanie, that's a crazy thing to write. Like, nobody asked you, this is how I feel, this is how I feel about Jacob imprinting on Renesmee, right? Where it's like, it's not so much that I'm like, Jacob, what's wrong with you? Because canonically, it's not his fault. Like, canonically, like, truly he has no control over it. However, Stephanie does. Like, she didn't need to make that happen, and she did. And you know what? You gotta kind of admire it. But also you gotta kind of, these books are also extremely racist. Well, not like extreme. It's not like extremely racist in a way that, like, you couldn't possibly read it and not notice, but after like hearing people talk about it, and then you go in and you're like, Jasper's a Confederate, or was a Confederate soldier in the Confederate Army? Okay, that's questionable. And then like everyone, like, all the vampires are the prettiest, the bestest, the specialist, and white. And then the minute and then if you are a black vampire, you will turn white because you become your perfect self, right? And so your perfect self is a white person, which is such a crazy, like, I don't know what she was, but then, like, I think she was Mormon, or like Mormon adjacent, because there's also the whole like pro-life saga, which is hilarious. I keep problematic. Anyhow, it's really, I could talk about Twilight in itself for 100,000 years. We went to an interactive screening of Twilight, and it was so fun. And there's so many quotable lines, and it's just a really good movie. Like, people, and like, I know that like it's kind of come around, but it's just, yeah, I'm glad it's come around. I'm glad we're giving it its due, and it's kind of in its cult status, because it was really good, and it is really good, and it's not very good. I gave that 5 stars because you have to admire the audacity, and you have to admire Bella's death wish, And in every scene where Edward's like, I'm gonna literally kill you and eat you, she's like, cool. Cool, that sounds good to me. I'm not that excited. I'm not that excited about being alive, so I'll take it. It's fine. And Edward's like, I'm literally not joking. I will kill you and eat. Ooh, that's still wet. My brush is still wet. I washed all my brushes, and they're still wet. I didn't think about that. Okay. Well, moving on. Let's see. Stardust by Neil Gaiman. I love Neil Gaiman. Me and Neil Gaiman are best friends for life. I'm sure he would agree with that. That makes sense. I love him. I really liked Stardust. Ooh. I have no idea where I got this from. I bought it, and I remember buying it, but I don't. Oh, another mirror. I don't remember where or when or why, and it's not particularly pigmented or helpful. But anyhow, okay, Stardust is like, it's very cozy fantasy vibes, but if cozy fantasy was good more than it was bad. Because every time I hear about like cozy fantasy from book people that I like and trust, they're like, well, I wish it was good. And I'm like, yeah, me too. But it's like, it's really like, it's a very comforting story. I really liked it. A lot of it, like, I can tell, I don't know, sometimes like when you read books, you can tell what the criticisms would be, even if, like, you can tell what the criticisms would be from people who didn't like the book. Like, I can see people being like, I didn't really buy into it. Like, I don't know, I feel like if you're not willing to meet it where it's at, you're not gonna have a good time. But if you are willing to meet it where it's at, you're gonna have a great time. And I really liked it. Because, like, I guess I don't know what I was expecting, because I've read Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman like ages and ages and ages ago, but I don't really remember it that well. I can't tell if my contours. Ooh. I wish I had a brush. That's fine. We'll make it do. We'll make it work. And I really like Neverwhere, but I don't remember a single thing about it. But that's honestly because I put it down and stopped reading it. Like, I finished it, but then I put it down. So some books are like that for me, kind of regardless of if I like them or not. Like, I'll think about them, and I'll think in my brain, and I'll be like, I like that book. Are we gonna do pink or red? Everybody, I love these. I know everybody loves the Rare Beauty blushes, but that's because they're very good. And everybody's right. I convinced my mom to get one, and she keeps texting me like, I have a lot of foundation on me. That's fine. And she keeps texting me like, oh my gosh, I love them. Maybe I'll mix them together. I've never done that before. Getting creative. Anyhow, what was I talking about? Right, so, yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was really cute, and he's very funny. Like, I knew he was funny. I read Good Omens as well. Although, for some reason, it took me like 3 tries to read that book. I don't know what that was about. Huh. Well, that's pretty. Maybe. We'll see. So I really liked it. I read it in like, I think like 2 days, which is impressive or not, like, whether or not that says anything, who knows. But, oops. But yeah, I really liked it. He's very funny. Yes, right. I really like Good Omens. So like, I kind of knew I like his writing style. Although I guess I don't really know what part of Good Omens he wrote or not. But it's a good story. I've only seen the first season and some of the show. Because the minute the show stops, like the minute I pause a show, I, for some reason, usually can't start it again. So sometimes I can, but often I can't. So I just haven't. This was kind of a disaster. But it's not my fault. This has nothing to do with me. Okay, what was it? Right. So, that's Stardust by Neil Gaiman. Really good. I think I gave it 5 stars because I just like really liked it. It's not that complicated. There's not that much to say about it, except that if you like Neil Gaiman's writing, you will like this book. And if you don't like Neil Gaiman's writing, you won't. And if you want like I don't know, like I mean, like, it's this long. It's not. Oh, I don't want to get makeup on it. Also, like, I keep the covers. But like, it's not that long. So if you're expecting like, be real, be realistic. Use your brain. Think about it. This is also not all the books I've read this year. I'm just realizing some of them are not with me. I moved. Anyhow. What next? And then there were none. You know what? Yeah, we'll do a plot twist. And then there were none by Agatha Christie. So a lot of these books, I'm sort of kind of very casually doing, this is the Rare Beauty highlighter in Mesmerize. Rachel got it for me for my birthday. Or Christmas. What was it? Right, so a lot of these books I'm doing, I'm reading from the like Rory Gilmore reading challenge, and mostly the reason I'm doing that, I haven't even finished Gilmore Girls because again I started it and then I stopped watching it and then I can never watch it again. Is why are you being difficult? I'm wearing too much powder. Is because I can never decide what books to read. And I want to read all the main books because I like to know what people are talking about when they reference stuff. Because I don't know, I feel like I get more out of life when I know what things that people are talking about. Or when media references other media, I like to know what both of the medias are. So that I can I don't know what they're talking about. But this isn't going that well, I feel like. What was I talking about? Right, okay. This is the third time I've started the sentence. Anyhow, so a lot of these books were on that list of just because for the most part, the ones that I've started are the ones that I've read from that list are just classics. They're just or they're classics or popular books of that era. So this is The Body Shop. My mom keeps buying makeup from The Body Shop, and it's I don't know. I don't know about it. Right, anyways, so yeah, so some of those books were from that list, and some of them were from books that my friends wanted and I wanted to read. I can just never just decide what book to read because, well, unless I can, in which case I will buy it and then I'll have it and I'll read it or I won't. But anyhow, and then there was None by Agatha Christie is really, really good. I really liked it. It's really fun. It's very intriguing. It's just a good mystery. And I read it after I read A Haunting in Venice, which I will touch on in a minute. So I had a certain set of expectations, and they were exceeded. Do I think about it a lot since I've read it? No, but I don't necessarily think that's what makes or breaks a reading experience. I don't really have a vision for my makeup. I'm kind of just doing whatever. Because it's all on my floor. Because I was I should organize all my makeup. And then I washed my makeup bag because it had a bunch of eyeshadow in it. And then it was wet, so I didn't want to put anything. Whatever. Okay, so yeah. So I really liked it. I thought it would be bad, but it wasn't. And I was very charmed by a lot of it. The plot twists and stuff were I was fine with them. For a minute I thought it was about to get really, really bad because there was kind of a fake out scene where the book ended because, well, and then there were none, so it seemed like it was just gonna end there and the consensus was gonna be a random guy. Okay, right. So there's 10 different people were lured to an island by N Owen, N. Owen. So then, like, a bit through the night, you're like, wait, no one. That's crazy. And it was crazy. They're right. But, okay, so, and then one by one they're picked off. And it's a little silly, but, you know, it's one of those. It's just like, it's gonna be silly, it's fine. This is the Benetint. I don't use it as much as I thought I would because I feel like my lips are never exfoliated enough to like have it sit nicely. Obviously, usually I don't use it over other lipstick, but I'm trying something here. It tastes really good though. That's kind of pretty. Anyhow, yeah, so for a minute I thought the consensus was going to be like, oh, just a different other person lured them to the island. Or just like a random other guy. Because there are several times where they're like, okay, well, it's probably like, it has to be somebody who's not on the island. And then they're like, no, it has to be somebody who is on the island because we're all here, like, we've looked everywhere. Nobody can be hiding on the island. There's nowhere to hide on the island. So then you're like, this is the little, like, NARS bronzer. I got it. And, like, as, like, a sample or something. And I kind of like it, but I don't really wear bronzer. Is it bronzer? Hard to say. But I don't really like it that much. I feel like I'm... Oh, what happened there? I wish I had my brush. I wish my brush were dry. I really didn't think about that. Oh my gosh, I don't know how long I've been talking, so I should probably pick it up. So I thought the consensus was going to be like, oh, just some random guy driving by on an island. The reason they didn't see him is because they didn't look very hard or whatever. But it wasn't, and I was satisfied with the ending. But it hangs in there for a bit. There's like a long point where you're like, are we just not gonna know? And you like kind of in the back of your mind, you're like, there's no way we're not gonna know. Like, there's no way we're just not gonna find out because that would be very stupid. But then, especially after you've read A Haunting in Venice, like, you don't know. You don't know if that's the direction they're going. But it's not, and I really liked it. Like, it was really fun. It was like a fun book, and I liked it, and I like to read it. So that's that one. This is Pygmalion? I don't know. It's the book that My Fair Lady was based, or the play that My Fair Lady was based on. I literally didn't know it was a play until I started reading it. And the main reason I got it was because the lady at the bookstore said she really liked it. And that she also really liked My Fair Lady, and I should read and watch them and then let her know what I thought. And then I went back and I told her that I did like it. It was weird though. It's like, I mean, it's just, if you imagine the plot of My Fair Lady, but I don't know, I haven't seen that movie, so I don't really know. But I assume that they do end up together in the movie, because that seems like something that would happen in the movie. They don't end up together, which is good, because he was really mean to her. What did I think? I thought it was fun. It was a play, so it was really easy to read. It took me probably like as long as it would take to watch it, to read. Yeah, it was like, I was like, okay. Like every time something happened, I was like, okay, cool. I'm sure like if I did like a deep dive into the themes and stuff, I would probably get more out of it. But none of that really like jumped out to me. Like, it's very over the head with like, you know, people come from different backgrounds, and just because somebody's, where are my fluffy brushes? Oh, they're in the trunk of my car. That's fine. Like, just because somebody's poor doesn't mean they're worse than you. And we should be, like, it was very, like, that part, like, I got that part. But, but like, yeah. Like, I think the politics of the movie or play. I think the politics of the play, this is an extremely old MAC eyeshadow palette that I stole from someone somewhere. like I don't think, like, I think a lot of it like, I just don't know that we have ever in the history of time needed to turn to men to to like interrogate women's place in society. I just don't think they're very good at it. Like I agree I agree generally with his like thesis that like women shouldn't be belittled by people they care about, and like, I don't know, being nice is good or whatever, or like you shouldn't, like, I'm glad, what's her name, it was like Emily, I think, Liza, like I'm glad that Liza didn't end up with him. I was worried she was going to, because but he was like, again, very mean to her. I was like, is that just his thing? But like I don't really, like, none of the motivations really clicked for me. It was just kind of like, okay. And then the story ended and I was like, great, it's over. So yeah, I liked it enough. Like, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I was almost entirely indifferent. Moving on. This book is truly my arch nemesis. I've never been so enraged at a book. A Haunting in Venice, also known as a Halloween party, is in many ways the the worst book I've read in a really, well, no, it's not. I'm looking. It's the second worst book I've read in a really, really long time. Okay, so I watched the movie first. So my friend read the book and was like, this book is so bad. And so then I was like, haha, that's funny, let's go see the movie, because we're trying to see a movie I would be doing this with a brush if any of my brushes were not wet, for the record. We're like, so I was like, well, let's go see the movie, that's so funny. So we did, and it was the worst movie we saw all year. And we saw a movie in theaters once a month as just sort of like a fun thing to do. And, ooh, that's too much. And it was so bad. Like, the whole movie was Dutch angles. The whole movie. And it's not like, and like, I know that like it's a dark and spooky movie because it's like about Halloween, which, first of all, why call it A Haunting in Venice? Just call it Halloween, whatever. I'm convinced that movie was written, like, the script and general, like, everything about the movie was written and like almost entirely finished before they decided that it was going to be an adaptation of Halloween Party by Agatha Christie. Like, I'm convinced they had like the script done, like several drafts of the script done. They had like everything ready to go. They were working on casting, and then some executive somewhere, and I have no official reason to believe this, but I'm so convinced. Some executive somewhere was like, you know what, this needs to be within the Hercule Poirot series. What was the other one? The Orient Express, and then the Death on the Nile. Like, they just decided in the last possible moment that that's what that was gonna be. And in doing so, well, I won't say that they ruined it, because truly I cannot imagine a version of that movie that is even a little bit competent. I guess if you really leaned into the like supernatural horror, like but then it's just like there's murders going on and it's a ghost. Like, that's not a mystery. It's a ghost. That's the answer. So then if you're gonna have it not be a ghost, like if you're gonna have it be a person, then you have to explain how a person is doing things that on first brush, like on your first thought, only a ghost could do, right? So you've got like, for example, a guy was stabbed to death in a locked room that nobody could leave. like leave, enter or leave, and there's one key, and that's accounted for. There's no other way in or out. They search the whole room, there's no other way in or out. So then you're like, okay, it's a ghost. Or like that's the thing of the movie, but then you're like, this is Scooby-Doo rules, it's not gonna be a ghost, it's gonna be some clever twist. Which, first of all, why on earth do murderers keep trying to pretend to be a ghost? Because ghosts aren't real, right? Or if they are real, they're not real in the way that murder ghosts are real. So like, what, like, if I'm a murderer and I'm trying to, like, frame a ghost, you want to be the first concrete evidence that ghosts are real is your murder you did? Like, what on earth could you possibly be thinking? Like, even if I, as a murderer, believe ghosts are real, I'm not going to try and seem like a ghost to do a murder, because best case scenario, that's just inviting a tons of people to come over and investigate the murder to see if ghosts are real or not. Like, just make it look like an accident, like they did in The Secret History. Those guys were onto something. Like, I don't understand why you could possibly fathom that, like, no, this is good. I'll pretend to be a ghost, and then they won't catch me. Like, anyhow, I'm getting psyched. That movie was so bad, and it was so dimly lit. And then they were like, so one of the 18 big twists was that it's not a ghost, it's just so stupid. It's honey that's poison. It's poison. This is the CoverGirl Lash Blast serum. I don't really actually know if it does anything, but I haven't applied it consistently enough to be able to say one way or another. Good. So, like, they're like, oh, it's so stupid. It makes me so mad. Even thinking about it, I'm getting heated. So it's well, it depends, right? So every aspect of the plot of the book versus the movie are different, except for the name of the killer, the existence of a party set on Halloween, and I literally think that's it. Oh, and then there is an Apple present on screen, is I would say the last like element of that. So, like, those are, oh, I only did one eyebrow. So the movie was bad for its own reasons, because again, it's completely separate. And it's bad mostly because all of the dialogue was really bad, and the plot twists were so bad. And the freaking, so the locked the locked room where the guy got stabbed. The way that happened, and nobody could tell until way later, and this wasn't even through detective work, I believe this is through, like, the villainous monologue moment, was she called the guy in the locked room. So if the guy locked himself in a room, unbeknownst, for whatever reason, and the murderess called him and was like, I'm gonna stab your son if you don't stab yourself in the locked room. So then he did. Which is so stupid. Because first of all, you could tell if somebody stabbed themselves versus was stabbed. Second of all, he was in a locked room. How would she possibly know what he did in there? Call anyone else. Do anything else. She does not know what you're doing in there because it's a locked room and there's no windows and, like, there's no possible way to get in or out. So, and you have a phone. That works. We just established that. Do anything else. Why on earth would you listen to this woman who is right in front of your son and clearly unstable? Okay. And then, like, there's a bunch of, like, moments where you can tell the screenwriters were like, oh, this is so good. Like, oh my god, they're gonna love this. But then it's the stupidest plot twist you've ever heard in your life. And you're like, oh, you were really proud of that one. That's great for you. I'm happy for you. I'm not happy for me because I'm so... Anyways, so the book is not like that at all. The book is... And, like... See, here's the thing, is... Like, and then there were none there's like a lot of like, it's hard to do action sequences or like whatever, like intrigue in a mystery, because like you're just like gathering clues, right? You're just like going around trying to pick up pieces of information so that you can solve the crime. But it's hard to do that in a way that's engaging. Like, it's the reason we don't have a lot of very famous, like, we've got like a couple of key mystery novelists: Arthur Conan Doyle, Agatha Christie, which like I'll give her that, and then the one was really good, etc. I'm sure there's more, but it's because it's hard to make it both like intriguing and engaging at the same, like it's hard to like have a complicated mystery and convey that in a way that's not, it's so boring. Like the entire book was just like pages and pages of conversation that went nowhere. And I know that it's trying to be like, oh, we're interrogating a wacky cast of characters to get to the bottom of the mystery, but like it was so boring. It was so boring and so silly and so different from the movie, which I kind of knew going into it because that's what my friend said. But that's all I could think about the entire time, is how different it was and how boring it was and how it's so, like, it's not that long, but it felt like truly, if you had like, I don't know, blocked the page count for me and been like, which one's longer, The Secret History, which is like 500 pages long, or A Haunting in Venice, which is like 250 pages long, I honestly would have probably said A Haunting in Venice, just because of the way that it so doesn't earn its pages. Like, it's so much of it is just like going somewhere, having like a conversation that's a chapter long, that is him trying to interrogate. Somehow every character he talks to is the most god-awful, horribly annoying, worst, most terrible character that has ever been put to page. And it's honestly impressive, because like, is this town just full of, so the other thing is, I don't know why it was called, I guess the murder took place on Halloween party, but Sir Hercule does not attend the Halloween party, and it has nothing to do with being in Venice, nor does it have anything to do with the Halloween party. So both names are bad. It's so boring, and I hated it so much, and it made me so mad, and there were so many parts where it was just like, okay, just like move along. And then the plot twists were like, it was the gardener, and she's in a well, and did she see a murder or not? And they kept and then he kept, oh my god, the one part that really pissed me off, oh, this made me so mad. This made me so mad. I had to stop reading for like a couple of days because of this. So there's a sequence where Agatha Christie self-insert, who was one of those, girl, like, I also read Dante's Inferno this year because of Hosier's new album, which is really good. And so there's a sequence where Agatha Christie's right, my Dante Inferno's reference. So like, he's in that book, right? Like, it's Dante's Inferno, like Dante's being led through hell with Virgil, by Virgil. And so he's in there, and he's truly Dante's ideal self. Well, I actually don't know, unless he has a degradation kink, but we'll get there. Anyhow, where was I going with this? Right, okay, so Agatha Christie's terrible self-insert, who is a murder mystery novelist, who is close personal friends with the hero of the story, and like a little smartass, but like charming in her own way, and it's like, Agatha, get out of my book. You're making me so mad. This book is so bad, you don't want to be in here. You could have been in, and then there were none, but I guess you would have. Getting ahead of myself. Okay, so they're talking, and she used to really like apples, but then because of an incident relating to the murder, she doesn't like apples anymore. And you're like, whatever, this is stupid. Right, okay, so she doesn't like apples anymore, even though she used to really like apples. And so now she's eating dates. And she's eating like handfuls of dates. And then and so then she's talking with what's his name? the Hercule, the detective. And so like he's like looking at her and he's like, I just can't crack this case. And she's like, sucks, I love my dates. And then he's like, oh my gosh, you've given me the best idea I've ever had. And she's like, I'm just eating my dates. And he's like, that's it, dates. I have to look at the dates of the crimes in order to figure out like what they how they happened. I have to look at the dates of them. You didn't think to look at the chronological order that the crimes happened in to figure out why they happened? You needed your friend to be eating dates to think about the order that the crimes happened in? You needed your dates to think about when the crimes took place? To sort of factor that into your very in-depth Sherlockian analysis? You needed somebody to literally be eating dates? Do you need somebody to be eating a murder weapon to consider why the murder weapon was used? Like, what are you talking? That's so... yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean you needed... Like, she was, like, eating dates, and he was like, oh, dates. Like, the date that the crimes happened on. I should look at that. Yeah, why wasn't that the first thing you did? Because they're trying to, like... It's one of those things, and I find this a little tedious, where, like... the crime that happened now relates to a crime that happened way back then. And it's like, that can be done well or poorly, but oh my god, you didn't think about, like, he knew about the crime that happened before. But you just didn't think about the dates that it happened? You didn't think to, like, put that one in there? What are you on about? Anyhow, moving on. This is, and I mean this I mean this very seriously, the worst book. This book, as much as The Haunting in Venice like made me very, very angry, I found this book to be, like, at least it made me feel like I was like during the whole date sequence, I was laughing because that is very, very stupid, but very, very funny. This is the worst. I can't even, okay, the plot of this is that this guy gets broken up with, and then he has sex with a different lady, and then he gets back together with the girl, and it's like, okay, to its credit, a lot of his references, because it was published in 1995. So a lot of his references are too old for me. Like, I don't listen to Bruce Springsteen. And I'm not gonna. So like a lot of it is like, this is so much like a Bruce Springsteen, or like, she looked at me just like, I'm trying to find some. Okay, you know what? I say that, but the line I just fell on right here is Blue by Joni Mitchell, which is one of my favorite albums of all time. Please put it. That's not true. No, but it is an album I really, really like. I like that whole album a lot. I would put it in my top 20 albums of all time. Anyhow, or like, I know like 2 Deep Purple songs. But like, so like that's the kind of thing, right? Or like, I don't listen to Neil Young. So, like, a lot of this book is just, like, him, like, making sort of, but not even, like, references, because even the ones I do know, they don't do anything for me. So, like, he works in a record shop, right? And he's a bitch. Like, he's awful. And, like, he's not even awful in, okay, so the first, like, chapter, like, 3 chapters, is him describing all of his exes. And he's, like, cruel. Like, he's not, like, oh, I was bad back then, but oh well, like, or like, I regret how I treated them. It was very, like, he's a vicious person. Like, there's one part where, like, he, like, kind of, like, either wishes or, like, tacitly condones a girl being assaulted because, like, he didn't like her attitude. Like, he's awful. And then throughout the book, we're supposed to imagine that he is growing as a person, and that's why he deserves to get back together with this girl Laura, who he has been nothing but like absolutely awful to. And it's supposed to be funny. It says funny, but it says funny on the back, but it's not, because all like him and his friends are, and it's just like, I don't know, it gives me the energy of like, I can't imagine who would read this, because like the kind of like frat boy asshole who this book seems like it's for probably doesn't want to read, like probably doesn't want to read like fiction. Like I don't know. Like I've never seen the kind of guy described in this book, or like the kind of guy this book seems like it's trying to reach, like want to read. Like I feel like they, I don't know, want to try and like see who can get the drunkest at a frat house. Like he's so cruel, and then like he's like and he's so pathetic. Like he's mean, but he's not even like cool mean, which again, like, and then like, so like he's just like and he's like ruining this girl's life. Like he's calling her work, he's like showing up drunk, he's like refusing to give her stuff back, and then somehow he like wins her over and considers immediately cheating on her again, but I think doesn't. I kind of skimmed that chapter because I was really fed up with it. And he just, and it's just like like almost entirely this book is references to other media that is almost certainly much better than this, but also has more to say than this. Like this is like it's just like, and okay, this isn't the book's fault, and I can say this as somebody who was born in England. This book is way too British. Like it's way too British. Like the British slang here, and I know that this is how they talk, and when it's spoken, it's not like, it doesn't stand out this much, but the way it's written, like to see like bloody hell written down is very, very funny to me. And I know that British people write, but they shouldn't. It's just like all of it is just like, it's just like every thought he has is either mean or stupid or carries the same kind of like faux insightfulness that guys in their mid-30s will have after like taking an acid trip and realizing that they aren't the only person on the earth, or like that everyone else is living their own lives, or that like empathy is the foundation of relationships, right? Like it's and then we're supposed to believe that like, and now he's like, after his trials and tribulations, he's grown as a person and he's a good person now, and he deserves to get back with her. But like I just, the whole movie I was like, oh my god, leave her alone. And then to have the book be like, no, they are happy together now. It's like, I don't believe you. I don't buy into this. I don't buy it, and I hate that I read it. I hated it so much. And it's just like every thought he has is either like mean or stupid or a reference to another piece of media. Or like, this is as sappy as, I don't know, insert like early 2000s artist here. And it's just, and it went on for so long. And it did. It's not, and like it's like 300 pages, but a lot, like, there's not that many words, right? Like, a lot of it is like, the margins are margining, right? So like that, so like it had no business being this tedious, and I just cannot fathom. I cannot fathom who that book is for, and I hate that I read it, and I bought it from the thrift store, thank God. I would not have bought that book, but I would be so mad if I bought it. My own money. I don't like this mascara, but I don't know how to buy a mascara that I do like. Because this is unrelated to my book thing, but how is it that, like, I guess this is true of like a lot of makeup, but like how is it that like the TikTok girlies have so much to say about every mascara? Because like surely a lot of them are very similar, right? And like even if they're not, like how often are you going up, like how often are you buying new mascara? But then like I guess you could say that for like all of makeup. But like I don't know. I try not to like fall into like the collection aspect of makeup because it's just so expensive. And like I try not to buy anything that I won't use or need. But then like I don't know, I feel like not trends necessarily, but like how I want to do my makeup changes. Ooh, I looked up too much. But then like maybe that is a trend. Maybe I only want to do my makeup this way because that's the trend. Although I feel like the trends are so fractured nowadays. I'm not sure. Like, what is tomato girl makeup? Like, guys, I don't know. I feel like we should work on, as a society and as a community, learning how to like how to do something ourselves without saying that everyone should or has to do it. Like, you can be like, here's a cute way you can do your makeup. We don't need to be like, oh my gosh, tomato girl makeup is out. Now we're doing cold girl makeup. Although I love cold girl makeup. But like, what is clean goth makeup? You can just say like, I like eyeliner. Or here's how to do like a cute makeup look. Like, we don't need to all be doing the same makeup look every time. We don't need to all be wearing the same, like, I don't know. It just kind of makes me sad when people are like, aw, or like when people are like, can we bring back 2016 brows? And it's like, you can. You can do whatever you want. It's fine. There's this one, oh, whoa. That's why I don't wear this. It's because it does this, and it's too much. There's this one TikTok I saw of a girl being like, they're not gonna beat your ass. You can do whatever you want. Like you can wear 2016 brows. Nobody's gonna come kill you. Anyhow. Okay, next book, The Shining. It's very scruffy because it was in my bag. This book is a lot longer than I thought it was. But again, it earned its pages, which I really appreciated. I didn't think it would, not to show my bias, but I kind of assumed I would hate it because I don't like Stephen King's vibe. Not as an author, because again, this is the first Stephen King book I ever read. But something about his energy, I don't know. Well, no, that's not true. I read the one chapter in it where like somebody's peeing in a river and then something like goes up his penis or something like that. So that's what I was thinking the whole time. Not the whole time, but when I started. This is the Makeup Revolution palette. It's a lot. It's not a cream. I don't know. People are getting so fast and loose with the words they use to describe makeup. Like, in what world is this a cream powder? It's just a powder. It's just like a compressed powder. It might be baked. It's not a cream, though. It's pretty. Anyhow, so yeah, I really like The Shining. I like the build-up. We did watch the movie. The movie was crazy and so different. I'm sure everybody's made this point before, but it's quite different. Quite a different film. Quite a different viewing experience. I liked it. I like both of them. I like the book a lot better. I think it does what it's trying to do better than the movie does. Not that I think the movie does a bad job, but I think it does a less good job. I think it's like, but again, it has less time to like do a slow build of like watching them slowly devolve. And then like also we can't like jump perspective, so we're not like also in Wendy's head. So like we see her like unravel, but not to the extent we see Jack unravel. So it kind of breathe a little bit, and I think this is a criticism that Stephen King made of the movie, because I understand he didn't like it very much. But like we're just watching the film, right? So we can't, like, we're not in anybody's head. This is the label's completely peeled off, but it's the ColourPop lip gloss in Glacier. It was a part of one of the collections, I think. Anyhow, it's not bad. I'm doing mascara. I don't know if I'm gonna bother with my eyeliner. Yes, I am. I'm gonna be very brave. This is the red. Yeah. Okay. So like we can see Shelley Duvall. That's what I'm thinking of. We can see like when we're in her head, we can see Wendy, like she's not like a scared little bitch. She's like being driven to paranoia by the hotel, right? Whereas in the movie, that kind of doesn't play as hard, so it kind of just seems like she, like, that's just what she's like, because the character, and I remember being like, oh, Wendy's like a really well-written female character. Like, I'm impressed, because I've heard that criticism of Stephen King a lot, is that he can't write women very well. And then my friend was like, well, yeah, but that's because he's just based on Stephen King's mom, or she's based on Stephen King's mom. Oh, okay, great. So like, he didn't like how the movie kind of made her seem just like very like flimsy, whereas like in the book you can tell like she starts like very assured of herself, and like the hotel kind of like preys on your worst quality, right? So it makes like, it tracks that she would, that like that aspect of her after dealing with Jack for so long is like, it tracks that is like a fear she has and that the hotel can exploit. But whereas in the movie, it doesn't really process that she is also being acted on in the same way. Like it's very obvious that the hotel is doing this to Jack, but it's not that obvious that it's also doing it to Wendy. Now I don't know, I can't speak to why that is or if it's good or whatever. I don't know, that like a lot of it is it's psychological, right? So it's hard. I'm gonna put this all over. It's hard to kind of portray that same, like the way they characterize Danny, right? Where like it's a voice in not Danny. What's his friend's name? Like Tony. The way they, I can't. I'm scared. I'm gonna do this without shadow instead. The way they characterize Tony, where it's like it's supposed to be a voice in Danny's head. So like we have there would be no way to do that realistically, or like in a. My tea's gone cold. So then instead they make the choice to have the finger thing, which I don't vibe with. I did not vibe with the finger thing at all. If my child was doing that, I'd be so upset. I wouldn't be furious, but I would be investigating. And I would just be like, oh, okay, sweetie. But I guess they're not. I guess they're like, hey, child psychologist, what's this about? And they're like, yeah, one of those things, kids, what are you gonna do? Anyhow, yeah, I really like the book. The first time it was like the hedge animals are moving, that was hilarious to me. That was so funny. Like, it's scary. It would be very scary in person. But like the idea of like hedge animals running around, but they're made of hedges, that's very funny and very whimsical. And I was very delighted by it. So I loved that. I liked Mr. Hollerman more in the book because he's more of a character. He's just taking out like a little bitch. Like, what a waste of my time in that movie. Like, we spend so much time watching him and trying to get there, and then and it's like, great, okay, thanks, Stanley. Like, this movie's really long. But, and like, I guess my expectations were subverted, I'll give him that. But Like, I don't know, something about the economy of screen time, where like, I do wish he had accomplished a single thing. And I like the way that the story ended. Like, I don't know. I guess it did. Also, why didn't the hotel explode? I guess they, like, did they not want to explode the hotel for real? Like, I don't know. It was just, I guess he tried to do a lot of it practical effects, and it's hard to explode a whole hotel. But like, I don't know. That was a pretty. That seemed very pivotal to me. Is that like, it's over? like as far as we know, the hotel's just gonna find another family to enact its. But maybe that's the point. Maybe it's like it's never over. But like, I don't know. I I was very disappointed that the hotel didn't explode because first of all, that sounds really fun to watch, and second of all, like, I don't know. It seems like an important plot beat. So that's the show meaning. I would love a real life hedge animal. Again, I know it would be scary, but also very whimsical and fun. Moment of silence while I train. This brush is also wet still. And I just cleaned it and now it's dirty again, but that's fine. So yeah, that was my thoughts on The Shining. I really liked it. I think I gave it like 4 stars. Um, ooh, what is going on? What happened? What happened here? That's interesting. Can't really tell because there's not that much light down here. Okay. Last couple books. The Phantom Tollbooth I read a while ago, but I reread it this year again. It's my favorite book ever. It's so fun and cute. I love it. And it's great. This is the most fun palette I've ever seen in my life. My friend Rachel also bought this for me. This is wonderful. It's so fun. And like, it's just so good. Just like such good colors. The way it looks is so good. The purple, like, I heard, I don't know who said it. It might have been Jeffree Star. Oops. But apparently purples are really hard to do. But like, you gotta swatch them. I love when people swatch their makeup. It's really good. Oh. But like this, I don't remember what it's called, but there's a name for the way you like organize like the shades, like them. Not organized, but like the way you select them relative to each other so that like no two shades are too far apart or too similar. But like, look at, yeah, I don't know. Look at that. Ooh. Or look at that. Aren't they pretty? They're so pretty. And then like there's like glitters, and then there's like shimmers, and there's like metallic ones, and there's a couple of mattes. It's wonderful. I would die for this palette. It's from ColourPop. Okay. Alright. So I'm gonna try and pull this back together. Phantom Tollbooth is the best book ever written. It's for kids, and it's really fun. And if you're a kid, you should read it. And if you have ever been a kid, you should read it. And if you hate kids, you should probably read it, because then maybe you like them. Okay. I feel like I already talked about Dante's Inferno, and I don't really want to get into it right now, but it's crazy and it's really good. But it's also really weird. Like, it's some of the most indulgent fan fiction I've quite possibly ever read. Like, I know that the girlies on AO3 are crazy, but like, I don't know, like it's very much Virgil X Reader vibes, or I guess, like, see, that's the thing, is like, at least with AO3, they are conceivably pretending that it could be you and not them, you know? Where, like, with self inserts, like, often it's self insert, not the author. Whereas this is a story about how Virgil takes Dante around hell, and the whole time he's like, the whole time Dante's like, oh, you're so cool and so great and so wonderful, and I'm so glad to be here. And Virgil's like, you're kind of a bitch. Like, it's so weird the amount of times where he's like, pick yourself up, you absolute idiot. But then sometimes he'd be like, you're wonderful and I love you too. Don't worry, Dante. And also, Dante, here are, okay, wait, here, actually. So see these purple? This is what I was talking about. This is also, oh, the lid's off. This is the Ultimate NYX colors. Here's the purple. Oh. See? That's nothing. That's bad. These are very good. These are very bad. The same thing kind of happens with the blue. Not as bad, but like, she's not. And like, even like the pinks are really good. Well, except for, I can't tell if that's pan or if that's like stuff. But see, like the pinks are, no, that one wasn't great. But like, for some reason the purples are just like, they're just not that good. But the ColourPop purples are very good. So I'm just gonna put that out there. Yeah, so it's really crazy. Like, I just think it's really a fun, charming thing to do, is collect all your enemies. Well, first of all, how does Dante even have that many enemies? Like, there's hundreds of thousands of them. Like, every circle of hell he goes into, there's like at least one person who's like, I hate you, and like, I remember you from life and you wronged me, and or I wronged you and now I'm in hell forever. And it's like, Dante, maybe you should just apologize to these people, because like, for the first couple I was like, kind of on your side, but then it seems like you've made enemies out of every single person you've ever met. And I do kind of wonder, just kind of casually to myself, if maybe after a certain point you might be kind of the problem. Because there's no way that like each of these like 35 people were mean to you just for no reason. like you like after a certain point, maybe it's not them, you know? Or even if it's not them, it's not only them. Like, I refuse to believe that every single one of these people just like came up to you when you were having a good day, minding your business, and like, I don't know, shot your dog or whatever, because it's crazy. And then also, the circles of hell are very confusing, sort of a very confusing layout. Weird choice on God. I love the way that the devil works though. Like, Satan at the end, that's extremely slay. Like, he's frozen in a lake of ice. He's got 3 faces, and he's chewing on Judas, Caesar, and Brutus, like the 3 biggest betrayers of all time. He's just like chewing on them. And he's got like giant, he's just like, very cool. Love that. I feel like my nose is too shiny. Yes, okay, the last book I'm going to talk about, it's not the last book I read, but it's the last book I'm going to talk about, is a book of poetry by Richard Setkin called Crush, and it's very, very good. I'm not, like, I kind of have a hard time with, like, on-the-fly poetic analysis, so I can't really go into it that much, except that it's extremely gay, trigger warning gay, and it's very beautiful, and it's very wonderful, and everyone should read it, even if you're not gay. Although if you're not gay, you will get less out of it, I think, than if you were gay. And as a gay woman, I'm sure I got a lot less out of it than if I was a gay man, because it's very gay man vibes, and I'm not a gay man, so I can't really speak to that. but it's very, very good, very beautiful. I have a lot of favorite ones. It's not that long. It's huge Fight Club energy. Like, it's like a, what is it? Yeah, like it's very much like like the like, I don't want to, like, I feel like I could say this and it could be read as not a critique, but like I don't want to like diminish the way that it but like it reminds me of what not what it's like, okay, when you read a really compelling fan fiction, and I'm not trying to say that it's like fan fiction vibes, because it's not, but it captures the same energy as because there's holes in my pants. Okay, I'm trying to think of a way to phrase this that will make any sense and not seem like I think it's fan fiction because it's gay, because that's not what I'm saying. I think it like it what am I saying? Okay, like the way that he describes like like feeling so much for somebody that you can't think of any way to say it. You just kind of like it's not like violent, but it is violent. Like it's an internal sort of like you can't process the emotions because you don't really know how. So you're just kind of like left lashing out. Like I've seen that done more compelling in fan fiction of characters that are already established than I have in real stories that I've read. Does that make sense? So like, because I think why that is, and this could be nothing, but is because with fan fiction, you have like all the heavy lifting of the characters and, well, the characters as insofar as you're going to keep them the same, and the and like everybody who's there has already bought in to these two people getting together, so you don't have to worry about that, and you can just focus on like how intensely they feel and like how they're willing to like hurt themselves and each other and like punch a wall type thing. And like like there's one line that is here. Okay, this time I ain't gonna find it, don't worry, because I know where it is. Sorry about the blood in your mouth, I wish it was mine. Like, are you kidding? Like, that's what I mean. Like, that is like, and I'm sure that there are stories like that out there, but I haven't read any of them. Like, I don't know where I would go about to find that kind of energy, where it's just like it's very like kind of hopeless and moody. In the foreword of the book, or introduction maybe, I'm getting lipstick on it, no. You would hate that, he's gay. It's a book about panic, and that's so real. Like, that's such a good way to describe it, which makes sense. It's the forward, so like, yeah, I know that they thought about this, but like, trying to get more of the gold on me. But like this, okay, here's my thing with this palette. This is the NYX Give Me Superstars palette. Okay, do swatch, ready? I think I've got like I don't know what happened to this one, but like, go girl, give us nothing, truly. Like there's, and then this one is like crazy. That's too much. This one's really pretty, but also very subtle, and so is this one. And I know I just went on. I don't know if you can see that, but like, really pretty. I don't know where the frame is. Anyhow, like it's so visceral and like makes you want to like beat somebody up and then kiss them, on the mouth. So that's my books. I didn't organize my makeup at all. In fact, I don't know that I made it messier because again, it was all over my floor, but it's very much still all over. Oh wait, let me just all over my floor. Ooh. But now it's also all over my face. which is exciting and different. So that's been my year-ish in books. Wait, here actually. Yeah. I would check what other books I read on Goodreads just to like list them, but I can't because my phone is filming. So, anyhow, that's that.